name is Sarah Petey, and I'm going to show you how to make some giant puppets. First, I'll show you in detail how to make a backpack puppet, a 12-foot puppet that moves and dances really well. Once you see the details of how to make one kind of giant puppet, you'll see that it's easy to make many different kinds. This is the workshop where I make giant puppets. Many of the puppets and banners you'll see were made for First Night in Boston and used in the Grand Procession. As well as being used in other performances, these puppets are kept in the Puppet Library and lent out in the Boston area. Emmanuel Church in Boston very kindly lets the Back Alley Puppet Theater and the Puppeteers Cooperative use its basement for the Puppet Library. These dragons were made by Jackie Smith. Many of the puppets I will use as examples I made myself, but many of them were made by other people in the Back Alley Puppet Theater. I'll try to identify puppets made by other people as I come to them. Although many of the puppets you've seen so far have looked quite different from each other, there are some things that they've all had in common. They've all had a stiff papier-mâché face or head and hands or tail and a soft cloth body. These giant irises are the exception to the rule. Because you're going to be spending a good deal of time working on sculpting the head of the puppet, and because naturally you'll be working on the puppet when it's standing still, it's important to remember that the way both the head and body are mounted, and therefore the way the puppet moves, will determine its character and the way in which people understand it much more than the way it looks when it's standing still. George Konoff, with help from Sarah Cunningham, made this giant punch puppet, which contains a small gamelan of giant gongs inside it. Jane Urban made this two-person tiger, I believe. Jackie Smith made this vegetable lady with a head on a separate stick. Joe Swanson made these four bright-colored ladies. She also made the giraffes on the bottom shelf and these party penguins, everybody's favorite birds. Everybody and his cousin painted one of these tigers. These building masks were walking backdrops for a hand puppet scene. These squishy big heads are made out of foam covered with painted cloth. As well as puppets from the Puppet Library, I'll use as examples some puppets that people made in various workshops. A puppet making workshop which I did with First Night of Albany, where they had a supply of small wheels. A workshop which I did with First Night of Quincy, where their supply of metallic lamés influenced their style considerably. A workshop which George Konoff and I did with the Children's Theatre of Newburyport, at which they made many, many ice dragons, and
the workshop which George Konoff did with the Strand Theatre and the Dorchester YMCA in Boston, making puppets for First Night of Boston. Well, let's begin.